Was he able to say anything to y'all? Or?
He was saying I'm talking to him, making sure we on Rick.
Young Dolph's final words have finally been revealed, and they came straight from the man who pulled the trigger. It's heartbreaking, but that's just the beginning. New, chilling details about Dolph's last moments are now coming to light, and they could completely change everything you thought you knew about how and why he was killed. Let's break it down. The life before the tragedy. Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., known professionally as Young Dolph, was more than just a rapper from Memphis. He was a father, a community leader, a businessman, and a self-made success story who prided himself on making it without help from major labels. His independent mindset was evident throughout his career, including in one of his final interviews. In a conversation with DJ Self in New York, Dolph emphasized his independent approach, stating,
"Because, man, that's where I come from. Like, that song right there, it ain't no song ever, bro, with that much real in one song.
That's what I'm asking.
I don't care, bro. You can listen to a million songs. Ain't none
I
song
agree with
got
you.
that much real stuff.
Listen.
Dolph wasn't just talking about authenticity in his music, he lived it. During the same interview, he opened up about his challenging upbringing.
Man, my mama was smoking, my dad was smoking. You feel what I'm saying? Man, I come up, my grandma raised me and my two little brothers. You feel what I'm saying? Since I was 14, bro, I've been paying bills. I've been taking care of my little brother. I've been getting money. I've been doing everything I'm doing now.
This rawness and authenticity are what endeared Dolph to his fans. He wasn't merely creating a persona, he was speaking his truth. As prosecutors would later state during his murder trial, Dolph rapped about the things that he saw growing up and that he sees in his neighborhood in Memphis. Some of that is drugs, some of that is violence, some of that is crime, some of that is gangs. The prosecutor added, "Whether or not we agree or disagree as to whether or not that subject matter or things we should be listening to or not, I can assure you it's real." He rapped about stuff that was real. What made Dolph stand out wasn't just his authenticity, but his ambition to create opportunities for others. According to testimony during his trial, Dolph wanted to make it for himself. He wasn't interested. He wasn't interested in others. He wasn't interested in being promoted by other people. He was all about making it himself. This self-reliance extended beyond his own career. The prosecutor continued, explaining that Young Dolph became famous, shortened to Dolph. Very famous, wanted to make it for himself, wanted to be self-made, but it wasn't just about him, because he also wanted a record label. He wanted to promote other artists. He wanted to make them famous. And so he started not just his own rap career, but a record label that's called Paper Route Empire. The name Paper Route Empire, PRE, was a clever play on words. As the prosecutor explained, paper route, like a young man or woman would have to make money on the side throwing papers, but also a play on the word paper, because in Memphis, slang for money is sometimes abbreviated PRE, Paper Route Empire. Dolph's independence wasn't without its challenges. In his interview with DJ Self, when asked about why he didn't have a record deal, Dolph proudly gestured to his jewelry.
Yeah, I
this,
see.
Man, come on, man.
But see,
While all these rappers in the fake watch busters, whatever it called, man, Young Dolph ain't in it. You feel me? I jumped in the game buying coops, buying ice, buying all that right now is still going on.
This attitude of self-sufficiency was a core part of Dolph's identity and appeal. He wasn't waiting for anyone's approval or assistance. He was making his own way in the industry. In the days leading up to his tragic death, Dolph was active in his community, showing his commitment to giving back. In what would become his final recorded interview, he visited the West Council Center, a cancer clinic in Memphis. His connection to the facility was deeply personal.
I got a aunt, my aunt, she's currently here. Like, she has cancer. My grandmother had cancer. My uncle had cancer. And they all came through these doors.
This demonstration of gratitude and community support revealed a side of Dolph that fans didn't always get to see in his music, his compassion and thoughtfulness. He continued, explaining why he felt compelled to visit.
And I just wanted to show up and just really thank them for what they do, because it ain't an easy job. Like, it's kind of hard, you know what I mean? Just seeing people in those conditions. Like, some people be more down than others. Some be all right. It's really just be all about timing.
During this interview, Dolph also discussed his plans for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, which he would tragically not live to see.
My artist, Big Moochie, great. He's from the east side, he's from East Memphis, so we'll be in East Memphis. Like, everybody, we be passing out turkeys all over the city, like every part of the city this whole week, really.
When asked if he had anything special planned, Dolph humbly responded,
"Not really, just the same, typical, same as usual. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate all the love, all the support throughout the whole city. Appreciate the Item A Foundation, that's what we're doing it for, that's what it's all about. And really just showing love and spreading love."
These words, focusing on spreading love and giving back to his community, take on an even more poignant meaning in light of what would happen next. Throughout his career, Dolph had been targeted multiple times. In February 2017, his car was reportedly shot at over 100 times in Charlotte, North Carolina. He emerged unscathed and later released an album titled Bulletproof, referencing the incident. In September of the same year, he was shot multiple times in Hollywood but recovered from his injuries. Given these previous incidents, Dolph was well aware of the dangers he faced. During the trial, the prosecutor noted that Dolph was well aware of the threats and the violence and seniority that were constantly hanging over him and his people. His brother, Marcus Thornton, often served as his security. As the prosecutor explained during the trial, not just his brother and his friend, but he also works security for Dolph. In fact, as Marcus walks in the scooter store, he has a gun on his person, and he has another gun in the car. Despite the dangers, Dolph continued to move throughout Memphis without extensive security, maintaining his connection to the community that raised him. This decision, while admirable, would unfortunately contribute to the tragedy that was about to unfold. On November 17, 2021, footage shows Dolph filling up at a gas station before heading to Makita's Homemade Cookies on Airways Boulevard. He was driving his distinctive Corvette with a custom wrap, a vehicle that was easily recognizable as belonging to the famous rapper. Little did he know that these would be among his final moments. The combination of his fame, his distinctive vehicle, and the ongoing tensions in Memphis would culminate in a tragedy that would shock the hip-hop world and the city of Memphis. The tragic day, November 17, 2021. November 17, 2021 began as an ordinary day in Memphis. Young Dolph, driving his distinctive custom-wrapped Corvette with his brother Marcus Thornton, headed to one of his favorite local businesses, Makita's Homemade Cookies on Airways Boulevard. This small bakery, located in South Memphis, not far from where Dolph grew up, was a place he frequented and publicly supported. In fact, just a week before the tragic incident, Dolph had appeared in a TikTok video praising Makita's cookies, with someone off-camera telling him to be safe. This video would later go viral after his death, adding another layer of tragedy to the unfolding story. The events of November 17th were captured on surveillance footage, which was later presented during the murder trial. This footage provides a minute-by-minute account of Dolph's final moments. According to the prosecutor's narration during the trial, Dolph and Marcus arrived at Makita's around 12:21 p.m. The video shows Dolph wearing a yellow shirt, blue jeans, and white shoes, getting out of his Corvette along with Marcus. As they entered the cookie shop, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Dolph can be seen on the surveillance footage inside the store, wearing his distinctive PRE chain, talking on his cell phone while picking out cookies. This ordinary moment, a successful artist supporting a local business, would soon turn tragic. What Dolph couldn't have known was that he was being followed. The prosecutor explained during the trial, that car that just drove up came from this side of the parking lot. It actually had been following Dolph on the street. When Dolph turned in, it went up to this light, where it got stopped for a few seconds, and then came around. It's a white Mercedes. The prosecutor further noted that the Mercedes had back-end damage and was a stolen car that defendant Justin Johnson had traded for at a gas station about 10 hours before this murder happened. The surveillance footage then captures the horrifying sequence that followed. Two men exited the white Mercedes. The prosecutor described the first man. This man got out of the passenger side of the white Mercedes, doors still open. We saw him run to the parking lot. He's here with a large semi-automatic weapon. He's in a hoodie, he's got sweatpants, and he's got white shoes. According to the prosecutor, the first man was Cornelius Smith, who emerged with a semi-automatic weapon, and the second was Justin Johnson, who had a handgun. Neither appeared to be professional hitmen, as the prosecutor noted. It looks like they don't take tactical shooting stances because they don't. Inside the shop, Dolph had walked toward the bathroom area. The prosecutor described what happened next. He's inside the business. He has walked over to sort of where the bathrooms are in the business. This is close. It's an empty hall. There's a window and he's getting shot through the window. The gunman opened fire, with Smith shooting wildly into Dolph with his semi-automatic weapon while Johnson fired his handgun. The prosecutor described the devastating impact. Dolph's body is riddled with bullets. He's shot all in the back, in the face, in the neck, in his arms. Marcus Thornton, who had a gun on his person as he served as Dolph's security, attempted to return fire. The prosecutor noted, Marcus Thornton starts firing back once he hears the shots. Now we see him emerge from the building. I can't tell in the video, but Marcus actually hits Cornelius in the shoulder. Shoot back. This detail about Marcus returning fire and hitting one of the attackers was later confirmed during the trial. Noted in the news coverage, the state also played the video and the surveillance footage of Dolph inside the cookie shop. Everyone was saying when it first happened, why didn't Dolph brother/security shoot back? The state said he did. Cornelius Smith, the one with the assault rifle, was shot in the shoulder. The report continues. That goes back to my video I made when Dolph was killed. I told y'all people in Memphis said it was blood in the parking lot where the shooters was. And if you look closely, Dolph's brother gun, it looked like it was empty or jammed. Despite Marcus's attempt to defend his brother, the attack was too sudden and overwhelming. The autopsy would later reveal that young Dolph suffered 22 gunshot wounds, with injuries to his head, neck, torso, arms, and back. The report classified his death as a homicide, detailing that there were 6 entrance wounds to his back and 3 exit wounds in his chest and abdomen, with additional injuries throughout his body. After the shooting, the assailants quickly fled the scene in the white Mercedes. The entire attack lasted only seconds, but it ended the life of one of Memphis's most beloved artists. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, misinformation and conspiracy theories began to circulate. Some speculated that Dolph was already deceased, and his body had been placed in the cookie shop as part of some elaborate scheme. However, the surveillance footage presented during the trial definitively disproved these theories. As the news report states, I think this right here should stop all the conspiracy theories that everybody had when it first happened, saying that Dolph was already dead and they placed his body in the cookie shop. Stop the count. Which was crazy to me from the beginning. The shooting sent shockwaves through Memphis and the hip-hop community. Fans gathered at the site of the shooting to create a memorial, leaving flowers, balloons, and mementos to honor the fallen artist. The city of Memphis mourned the loss of one of its own, a successful artist who had remained connected to his community despite his fame. In the hours and days following the shooting, speculation about potential motives began to circulate. Dolph had been involved in a publicized feud with fellow Memphis rapper Yo Gotti for years, though there was no immediate evidence connecting Gotti to the shooting. Later during the trial, prosecutors would allege that a $100,000 hit was put out by Yo Gotti's late brother, known as Big Jook, though this claim has not been definitively proven in court. The investigation moved quickly. Memphis police released photos of the suspects captured from the surveillance footage, showing 2 men holding guns outside the cookie shop. This led to the identification of Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith as the primary suspects. According to the prosecutor's narrative during the trial, Smith and Johnson were not close associates, but were brought together for this hit. The prosecutor described Smith as a man from the Orange Mountain neighborhood who was in his early 30s with a serious drug problem who does ecstasy. Smith allegedly got his drugs from a man known as Quet, short for his middle name, Moquet, described by the prosecutor as what in Memphis we call our old head, older guy, lives in the neighborhood, flags long grown, handed out in jail through the years. The prosecutor elaborated that Quet sells drugs. Quet gambles on sports like crazy, online sports stuff, and then Quet tries to identify young rappers and tries to shop them to CMG, hoping to get a copy. This reference to CMG is significant, as it's the name of Yo Gotti's record label, Collective Music Group, suggesting a potential connection between the shooting and Dolph's ongoing feud with Gotti. As more details emerged from the investigation, it became clear that this was not a random act of violence, but a targeted hit. The suspects had followed Dolph to the cookie shop, waited for the right moment, and executed their plan with the specific intent of killing the rapper. In January 2022, nearly 2 months after the shooting, Justin Johnson was captured in Indiana by U.S. Marshals. Cornelius Smith was already in custody on an unrelated charge when he was indicted for Dolph's murder. A third man, Shundale Barnett, was charged with being an accessory after the fact for allegedly helping Johnson flee Memphis after the shooting. 2 additional men, Devin Burns and Joshua Taylor, were named as persons of interest in connection with the case. The death of young Dolph at the age of 36 cut short a promising career and devastated his family, including his partner Mia J. and their 2 children. It also represented a significant loss for Memphis, as Dolph was not only a successful artist, but also a philanthropist who regularly gave back to his community through turkey giveaways during the holidays and other charitable efforts. But young Dolph's didn't sit well with the rap community, and as expected, way more things unfolded after his death. The aftermath and legacy. The aftermath of young Dolph's murder reverberated far beyond Memphis, affecting the hip-hop community nationwide and leaving a void that couldn't be filled. The legal proceedings, the impact on his family and community, and the preservation of his legacy all became focal points in the months and years following his death. The murder trial finally began in September 2024, nearly 3 years after the shooting. By this time, the case had undergone several developments. Justin Johnson, known as Straight Drop, emerged as the primary defendant, with the prosecutor noting that Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, the only one on trial right now, Everyone else will go to trial after the jury decides straight drop, aka Justin Johnson, fake. There was speculation about why other defendants weren't being tried simultaneously, with the news report suggesting that a lot of people believe this is because everyone else took a deal or talking, and straight drop is not. During the trial, prosecutors presented the surveillance footage of the shooting, allowing the public to see the tragic final moments of young Dolph's life. The footage confirmed many details that had previously been reported, including Marcus Thornton's attempt to return fire and hit one of the shooters. In a surprising development during the trial, Cornelius Smith testified against Justin Johnson, admitting to his own role in the shooting. Smith's testimony provided further insight into the planning and execution of the murder, though it did not reveal any final words from Dolph. This point about Dolph's last words is significant because despite extensive coverage of the case, there has been no credible reporting of any final words spoken by Dolph at the scene. The surveillance footage from the cookie shop contained no audio, and no witnesses have come forward with accounts of Dolph's final statements. Some reports have referenced Dolph's final social media posts, but these were made weeks before his death and don't qualify as his last words on the ground. The most complete picture of what happened comes from the autopsy report, which confirmed that Dolph suffered 22 gunshot wounds to various parts of his body, including his head, neck, torso, arms, and back. The report noted 6 entrance wounds to his back and 3 exit wounds in his chest and abdomen, with the most common bullet trajectory being forward, suggesting he was shot primarily from behind. The brutality of the attack underscored the targeted nature of the hit. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong or a spontaneous act of violence. It was a calculated assassination of a prominent figure in the Memphis community. As the legal proceedings continued, Dolph's family, friends, and fans were left to grapple with his absence and preserve his legacy. His partner, Mia J., had been advocating against violence through her Black Men Deserve to Grow Old campaign even before Dolph's death. After the tragedy, this campaign took on additional significance as she continued to speak out about the impact of violence on Black families. Dolph's record label, Paper Route Empire, PRE, faced the challenge of continuing without its founder and guiding force. Key artists on the label, including Key Glock, Dolph's cousin, and others, vowed to carry on Dolph's vision and keep his musical legacy alive. In January 2022, Paper Route Empire released a tribute album titled Long Live Dolph, featuring tracks from the label's artists honoring their mentor and friend. The album showcased the impact Dolph had on developing talent and creating opportunities for artists from Memphis. Dolph's community work also left a lasting impact. His annual turkey giveaways had become a tradition in Memphis, providing Thanksgiving meals to families in need. After his death, his family and team committed to continuing these charitable efforts, ensuring that his philanthropic legacy would endure alongside his musical contributions. In his final interview at the West Council Center Cancer Clinic, Dolph had spoken about the importance of giving back and showing appreciation.
You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate all of the love, all the support throughout the whole city. Appreciate the Ida May Foundation. That's what we're doing it for. That's what it's all about. And really just showing love and spreading love.
These words took on added significance after his death, serving as a testament to his values and his commitment to his community. Dolph's murder also sparked broader conversations about violence in hip-hop, and in Memphis specifically. The city had been experiencing high homicide rates, and Dolph's death highlighted the dangers faced by successful artists who maintain connections to their communities. Some pointed to the ongoing feud between Dolph and Yo Gotti as an example of how rap rivalries can escalate to real-world violence. Though no direct evidence linked Gotti to the murder, the prosecution's suggestion that the hit was ordered by Gotti's brother added fuel to these discussions. Others focused on the broader systemic issues that contribute to violence in urban communities, including poverty, lack of opportunities, and the normalization of conflict resolution through force. Dolph's own lyrics had often reflected the realities of life in Memphis, including the prevalence of drugs, gangs, and violence. As the prosecutor noted during the trial, Dolph rapped about the things that he saw growing up and that he sees in his neighborhood in Memphis. Some of that is drugs, some of that is violence, some of that is crime, some of that is gangs. Whether or not we agree or disagree as to whether or not that's subject matter or things we should be listening to or not, I can assure you it's real. He rapped about stuff that was real. Dolph's authenticity, his willingness to speak about the harsh realities of life in Memphis, was part of what made him successful as an artist. But it also reflected the environment that ultimately claimed his life. life. In the years following his death, Dolph's music continued to resonate with fans. Posthumous releases and collaborations kept his voice in the conversation, allowing new listeners to discover his work and longtime fans to hear previously unreleased material. His influence extended beyond his own music to the artists he mentored and the independent business model he championed. Dolph had shown that it was possible to achieve success without signing to a major label, maintaining ownership of your masters, and building your own empire. This approach inspired many emerging artists to consider independent paths rather than traditional record deals. Makita's homemade cookies, the site of the tragedy, became an unintended memorial to Dolph. Fans continued to visit the location, leaving tributes and paying respects. The small business, which Dolph had supported and promoted, now carried a heavy association with his death. The owner of Makita's, Maurice Hill, had spoken to the media after the shooting, confirming that Dolph had been a regular customer who had just walked in to buy cookies when he was attacked. The bakery temporarily closed its Airways Boulevard location after the shooting, but eventually reopened, continuing to serve the community Dolph had been a part of. As for the question of Dolph's final moments and final words, despite extensive reporting and the presentation of evidence during the trial, there has been no credible account of any last words spoken by Dolph at the scene. The surveillance footage had no audio, and no witnesses have come forward with reports of his final statements. Some reports have referenced Dolph's final social media posts, including one from September 14, 2021, where he wrote, "I'm definitely why before my time," but these were made weeks before his death and don't represent his final thoughts or words. The absence of confirmed last words has contributed to the sense of abruptness surrounding Dolph's death. There was no final message, no parting wisdom, just the sudden, violent end to a life that had impacted so many. In many ways, Dolph's legacy is defined not by his final moments, but by the body of work he created throughout his career and the people he influenced along the way. His commitment to independence, his authenticity, his business acumen, and his community involvement all contribute to a legacy that extends far beyond his tragic end. Young Dolph's story is one of resilience, authenticity, and ultimately tragedy. A self-made success who overcame a difficult upbringing to achieve fame on his own terms. A community-minded artist who gave back to the city that raised him. A targeted victim of a violent attack that ended his life at the age of 36. As investigations continue and legal proceedings unfold, the full story of Dolph's murder and its motivations may eventually come to light. But regardless of those outcomes, his impact on hip-hop, on Memphis, and on the many people he touched through his music and his generosity remains undeniable. In his interview with DJ Self, Dolph had emphasized the importance of working hard and earning respect.
You work hard enough, bro, like people can't do nothing but recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with this music thing, it's just about is respect, bro. People know when you working. Feel what I'm saying? Like people that's in the business, they know when you working.
This work ethic, this dedication to his craft and his community, ensured that young Dolph would be recognized and remembered long after his untimely death. His legacy lives on through his music, through the artists he mentored, and through the community work he championed, a testament to a life that, while cut short, made an indelible impact. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.